The Stone Zone. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Well, I got to tell you, I would love to be listening to Roger Stone right now, but this is Anthony Cumia. I am, a personality, a radio personality, shock jock, former shock jock. And I'm filling in for Roger Stone tonight. And I love Roger. I've had him on my show. I've been on his show. Roger is an amazing individual. And one thing I feel I have to say right now, the indictment of James Comey, who, it is blatantly obvious. We have video, audio, anything you need to prove somebody has committed perjury in front of a congressional hearing. That's James Comey. This isn't speculation. This isn't what the Democrats usually do and have done with the likes of Donald Trump. Oh, look, he had some kind of a banking issue. And you look and go, oh, yeah, he took out a loan. It was against Mar-a-Lago. He had the value of Mar-a-Lago, and they undersold it. Truth be told, no crime was committed. And they convicted him 34 felonies. And Roger Stone, same thing. And you look at James Comey and the way they handled him with kid gloves. The guy is indicted. We've seen how he perjured himself. All that nonsense about Russia, the Steele dossier, all the stuff they tried to do to keep Donald Trump out of the presidency. And then try to get him when he was even in the presidency. And then try to get him again when he ran for the presidency for the second term. And now you look and go, yeah, good. James Comey has been indicted. This they love to say, the left, the liberals, the idiots, that Donald Trump has weaponized the judicial system. You want to talk about weaponizing the judicial system? Look what they did to Roger Stone. When they showed up at his house on trumped up, no pun, trumped up charges, CNN was notified beforehand. They invaded his house, arrested him, and hauled him away in front of the CNN cameras. Just a coincidence, as we all remember. It was just, I just happened to be in front of Roger Stone's house. I'm a CNN reporter. I got a camera crew. I just happened to be there as they were arresting him on some garbage charges. And then we see James Comey indicted. And we know he committed, at the very least, perjury. We saw the video. We heard the audio. We've seen James Comey talking in front of congressional, senatorial hearings. And what happened? Oh, he committed perjury. So they indict him, and what happens? Hey, James, if you can make it in, you need a ride? We'll get an Uber for you, James. Whenever it's convenient for you, how about we get an Uber and we drive you over and, you answer to these charges that you're indicted for. No CNN crew, no perp walk like Roger got. It's disgusting. I tell you, it's disgusting. And, it's the hypocrisy. And we put up with it, people. Republicans, the right wing, conservatives, whatever you want to call us, against them, the liberals, the Democrats, the left wing. We just do not do enough to show how pissed we are at what they're doing. We sit there, drag queen story out. We don't really like that. Yeah. Meanwhile, you do something on the right that is quite literally defending the rights we have under the Constitution. And we're villains, we're horrible, we're racist, sexist, homophobic, Islamophobic, any ist or phobe they could come up with. The scarlet letter plastered on your chest. And that's what happened with Roger. I mean, and I bring this up because I'm filling in for the great Roger Stone this evening. And anyone that looks at this and sees what Roger went through and with these legitimate criminals, treasonous people have gone through. They get to check in. It's like a hotel. Hi, James Comey. I'm booked in a jail here at 3 p.m. Is my room ready? Can I leave my bags behind the counter if it's not ready? That's, and I don't know why we do this. Why do we have to be so nice, so polite to these people? The left reacts with violence, ultra violence. And we react through trying to do it through the court system, through lively debate. We've seen, look, I don't have to tell anybody, especially now, people like Charlie Kirk, the fact that what he did was get in front of people that disagreed with him, and his weapon, the evilness of Charlie Kirk was lively debate. I don't agree with you. Let's talk it out. And you look at how the left reacts through unbelievable violence. They have this propaganda left-wing media on their side. And when we look at something like Roger Stone went through during his arrest, that was a terrorist, an Islamic terrorist wouldn't have been put through what Roger Stone was put through when he was arrested. And that's a problem. That is a problem. So I just want to say I am thrilled. I'm honored to be filling in for the great Roger Stone this evening. And let's talk about some stuff. I love Pete Hegseth. Hegseth is driving the Dems crazy. This was a big thing. He got a bunch of generals and admirals together. And what he did was get on a stage with all of them in front of him and say, there's a new sheriff in town. This is what we're doing now. We're not doing the transgender. We're not doing DEI. We're not doing fat soldiers. And he stood up on that stage, looked them all in the face, and said, this is what the military is going to be under me, the Secretary of War. And the Democrats were freaking out. It costs $6 million to bring these generals and admirals in front of him. The waste of money. Waste? Here's what that was all about. He brought all of them in front of him.
If the Secretary of War can do regular, hard PT,
I love this.
So can every member of our joint force. Frankly, it's tiring to look out at combat formations, or really any formation, and see fat troops. Likewise, it's completely unacceptable to see fat generals and admirals in the halls of the Pentagon and leading commands around the country and the world. It's a bad look. It is bad, and it's not who we are. So whether you're an airborne ranger or a chairborne ranger, a brand new private or a 4-star general, you need to meet the height and weight standards and pass your PT test. And as the chairman said, yes, there is no PT test. But today, at my direction, every member of the joint force at every rank is required to take a PT test twice a year.
Yeah.
As well as meet height and weight requirements twice a year.
Hoorah!
Every year of service. Also today, at my direction, every warrior across our joint force is required to do PT every duty day. Should be common sense. I mean, most units do that already.
Yep. That's how it's supposed to be. This isn't the old school stuff. And they were so mad. You know, who knows the military more than the ladies of The View? And when they were talking about why wasn't his speech uplifting? Why? Because for 4 years under the Biden administration, that marionette regime, they screwed the United States military. And now he's saying we're not doing that anymore. And he put those generals and admirals in front of him because he didn't want them to go, oh, I missed the memo. Oh, I didn't hear. We a Zoom meeting? He wanted them looking at him and saying, this is what we are doing right now. We're not doing what you thought was a standard operating procedure during the Biden cluster F. We'll continue with this and a little bit more in a couple of minutes. Anthony Cumia filling in for the great Roger Stone. Will be back in moments.
The Stone Zone, entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Well, it's not quite Roger Stone. It's Anthony Cumia sitting in for the great Roger Stone. I've spoken with Roger so many times, and if you know anything about Roger, you know he worked with Richard Milhouse Nixon. And I've spoken to him, not Nixon, but Roger. And I just love his stories about the Nixon administration and him working with Nixon. And I told him a story when I was a kid. I guess it was 1970, and I was, 9 years old? Do some math. You're old, Anthony. Yes, thank you. And what I wrote a letter to Richard Milhouse Nixon. I was in class. I was 9 years old, and the teacher said, you have to write a letter to a celebrity. And I decided to write one to Richard Nixon. And I wrote him a letter, and I got something back. It was quite some time later. At the time, I didn't realize that it was just a stamped kind of thing. You know, hey, thanks for the letter, Richard Milhouse Nixon, and it was stamped on there. And I really thought Nixon had sent me a letter. And I was ecstatic. And after that, it kind of influenced me to pull for him during the whole Watergate thing. He sent me a letter. So Watergate be damned. I was on Nixon's side and felt terrible. You won't have Richard Nixon to kick around anymore. So that was great. Roger Stone has so many awesome Nixon stories, and I love talking about it. And I love filling in for him tonight. Love Roger. What we were talking about before the break, Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War, When I heard they were going to change the name of the Department of Defense to the Department of War, all I thought was, well, this has to be, they can't call him the Secretary of War. That's like it's badass, but I couldn't imagine them saying it. And yes, he is. He is indeed the Secretary of War. So that was awesome. And here he is talking about being done with the woke, and he used the S word, the dreaded S word. But let's hear him talk about the military and what it should be without being woke. If you could
no
pop
more
that
identity months, DEI offices, dudes in dresses. No more climate change worship. No more division, distraction, or gender delusions. No more debris. As I've said before, and will say again, we are done with that.
God, I love it. Oh, you talk about video porn. That to me is video porn. When I watch him doing that, I'm like, yes, that is awesome. To think that we went through so many years where we looked at transgender people of power in the military, it's preposterous, if I may use such vulgar language. There's no way in hell that transgender people, who I assume, and I think a lot of other people assume, are mentally ill. And we've been brainwashed, or the country's been brainwashed to the point where they're saying that they are absolutely entitled and ready to take control of the military. I loved this. Thank you, Pete Hegseth. Back in a minute.
The Stone Zone, entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Where's Roger Stone? I love it. We love Roger. I'm thrilled to be filling in for the great Roger Stone this evening. And let's continue what we're talking about. I guess the cluster F, if I may say, that is going on in this country. We've watched Donald Trump try his damnedest to make some of these cities that have been just known for death, destruction, vandalism, assault, robberies, vandalism, just all this nonsense that's been going on. And the mayors, the great mayors of these blue cities, Chicago, Memphis, Portland, Atlanta, Philly, they just say, hey, Donald, don't send your people in. We got it. We got this. We're good. We're taking it. Crime is down. Crime is down. Truth be told, crime is not down. I've known so many cops over the course of the years, and some of them upper echelon, brass as they call them. And what I've heard is they take these statistics and they kind of twist them around. They twist them around a little bit. Oh, it's an assault, a felony assault. Let's make it a harassment violation. Now it's not even a misdemeanor, it's a violation. And then they put their numbers out and go, look, what an amazing mayor, police commissioner, whatever it is, governor of the state. And look, the crime's down. And as citizens, we look, and these days, it's 2025. Have I said that? Do you know the year? And what we look at is, the internet is here, and we can see videos of the astounding criminal activity that is going on. And it doesn't look like crime's down. What they do is they reclassify violent crime into violations, like a traffic ticket. Oh, someone belted someone in the face, hit him over the head with a pipe, threw him onto the tracks of a subway. Well, it's a violation now. It's like a ticket. We don't care. And then they go, crime is down. But truth be told, we know damn well that crime is not down. And there are people committing atrocities in every major city, and especially these Democrat-run blue cities. It's unbelievable. And, you know, I know we're going out all over the country here, but I'd like to talk about the mayoral election that's going to be taking place in New York City. Zoran Mamdani. That's like a name that should be on the machine in big. Wasn't that Zoran Mamdani when he tried to make himself older? I think that was Zoran Mamdani. This is an atrocity. A communist. I'm a socialist Democrat. No, it's communism. It is communism. And Zoran Mamdani is the guy that will be elected. I love Curtis Sliwa. I want to see Curtis Sliwa as the mayor of New York, but I know it's not going to happen. If I was a resident of New York City, I would vote for him. I would call on my friends, relatives to vote for him. But I have no faith in the people of New York. They voted in Hochul. They continue to vote Chuck Schumer in. They're AOC. They know nothing about what would make New York a better state and what would make New York City a better city. So I have every part of me knows damn well that Zoran Mamdani is going to be the mayor of New York City. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. But that's what's going to happen. I hate it, but it's going to happen. And one of the things he talks about is New York will be safer under a Zoran Mamdani administration. Now, we watched Giuliani over the course of the years. You know, truth be told, on September 10th, 2001, Giuliani was hated. He wasn't a liked mayor of New York because he did what needed to be done, and a lot of people didn't like it. He got rid of all the nonsense that was going on in the city. Tourism was up. You know, New York is a lot of the money New York makes is tourism. But people are like, he's taking away the porn video stores and prostitution and drugs, and he's keeping people from jumping the turnstiles. And what it amounted to was an amazing renaissance of New York City. People couldn't get enough of this city. A lot of tourism started up. You saw Times Square turn into Disney Times Square, and it worked well for New York. And Bloomberg did a good job following up on it. He was a liberal, but he was also a businessman and knew what it took for New York to make money. Once de Blasio got in there, that communist just screwed everything up. And then Adams, the same thing. This guy, if you ask me, is a racist. Anything having to do with white people, he hates it. Anything having to do with controlling crime in the city. You know, you got to do that. What was it called? The broken window policy under Giuliani? Shake down these people committing the smaller crimes, and you'll expose people doing bigger crimes, and you'll make the city a better place. Well, they just couldn't deal with that. They looked at New York City and said, well, I don't know. Maybe these people aren't so bad. Maybe we got to have judges and attorneys generals and people that are going to let them out of jail, and no bail. That's a good thing. No bail. And Mamdani, who will win, I hate saying it. I wish Curtis was going to win. But truth be told, Mamdani will win. If I could bet $1 million on it, I would. Mamdani will be your mayor, New York City. And here he is talking about violence. And we all know violence in New York City is terrible. But he doesn't think it's actually violence. It's a social construct. Let's listen, shall we?
Oftentimes, we've even found as legislators, when we go into these courts, the term violent crime is even used when people are stealing packages. Violent crime is even used when people are accused of burglary and there happens to be a housing unit in that same dwelling. So violence is an artificial construction. And we have to be very clear that what is happening here with these district attorneys, that is violence. That is violence of the highest degree.
The district attorneys in New York, they are perpetrating violence, but against the people of New York. They're releasing these violent animals back out on the streets. He said violence is a social construct. When you listen to someone like Mamdani and they talk about crime in New York City, it's the same thing. You ever watch these videos? I love watching traffic stop videos. The cops, body cams, the people in the car. And what you see a lot of the times is, why did you pull me over? Well, and then the cop explains it. And then you get, give me your license and insurance and Reggie. And they go, I don't have my license. And then they say, I know my rights. I don't have to give you anything. And then the cop says, can you step out of the vehicle? This is a legal request that I'm making. Pennsylvania, or Mims versus Pennsylvania. And they say, I'm not stepping out of the vehicle. I know my rights. And meanwhile, the police are completely within their jurisdiction to remove someone from a vehicle during a traffic stop. And they just don't do it. And then they get dragged out of the vehicle and put on the ground and cuffed. It always ends the same way. And then you hear him go, you dragged me out of the car and arrested me for a blinker because I didn't have a directional? And you go, no, you escalated this to this point. And that's the same thing Mamdani's saying. Oh, we don't want to arrest people for violence because a lot of things aren't violent. He said that taking a package from someone's porch, you get, Amazon drops something off and then some thug comes over and takes your possession. That's not a violent crime. Well, no, normally it isn't. But if the homeowner comes out and says, what are you doing? Stop taking my possessions. And the person taking it turns around and goes, Yeah? Come here. I'm going to kick your ass, or you're not going to. That's violence. That is a violent, strong-armed robbery. But they always do the same thing. I'm dragged out of the car for a blinker? Oh, I'm a violent criminal for taking a package? No. It's what you followed up with and did. You took a package, threatened the homeowner that said, why are you stealing from me? And this, put it to any crime you see happening. They will try to talk about it like it's some inconsequential nothing. I was just doing this. And Mamdani literally wants to make these crimes nothing. Maybe a simple violation. And that's why we're seeing people that are let out of jail after 18, 19, 20 felony arrests. Because it's not a felony arrest. He didn't have a headlight. He didn't stop at a stoplight. Oh, when the cop stopped him, he had a gun in the car, he had drugs, he had this, but he was stopped for, some inconsequential traffic violation. They never want to go a little further and see what's happening. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this when we come back in moments. Don't go away.
The Stone Zone, entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Well, it's not Roger Stone, but it's somebody who adores and respects Roger Stone. Anthony Cumia. You can catch my show Sunday evening, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Time on WABC Radio. And, I was talking about Mamdani, and some people go, hey, that's a local thing. It's New York City, Anthony. This show is all over the country. Why don't you talk about something else? Well, okay, let's do that. How about Chicago? Chicago. Close. Mayor Johnson and Pritzker, who is the governor of Illinois, what a disaster that state and city is under their tenure. You look at what's going on in Chicago, the body count every weekend is astounding. And Donald Trump says, hey, let's go in there and try to quell the murders, the deaths of civilians going on in Chicago, Illinois. Let's take a look at Washington, D.C. Let's see what Trump did there. 10 days, I think, a couple of weeks maybe went by without a murder. And this is something that was unprecedented. Murders happen all the time in D.C. and Chicago and Atlanta and Frisco, Oakland, L.A., New York. Do I have to keep going? I don't think so. But you look at what's going on in Chicago. And Trump, what he did in D.C., he goes, hey, how about we just do that in Chicago, Memphis, Portland, and the leadership, which is a joke, in those states and those cities go, no, we don't need you. We're doing great on our own. Crime is down. Meanwhile, they crunch these numbers. They fake them. We see it. Years ago, we probably couldn't. But with the internet, with all the videos that we see going on in these states and the crime stats, we go, yeah, it is terrible. And when the citizens are saying, hey, yeah, thank you, Donald Trump, Please, let's get the National Guard in here. Let's get ICE and the Border Patrol. Let's hook up with local law enforcement and try to help the citizens that are under siege. And the leadership, the mayors and governors in these blue states and cities are just going, no one wants you here. Everyone wants you here. Who doesn't? Who are they siding with? The thugs, the criminals, the gang members. They're the ones that don't want law enforcement there. And I got to tell you, when I see the National Guard and ICE and the Border Patrol and local law enforcement in conjunction with the president and the National Guard actually smacking these people around, tossing them on their ass. It ain't like the old days, man. It ain't like the old days. And I couldn't be happier seeing this. I don't think any real American doesn't feel that they love seeing what these law enforcement agencies are doing. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. I thank Roger Stone for letting me fill in. And you could catch me Sunday night, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Time on WABC. Have a great rest of your weekend, people.
Thanks for listening to The Stone Zone with Roger Stone. You can hear The Stone Zone with Roger Stone weeknights at 8 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode, so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?